Bet horse racing on DRF Bets. We'll match your first deposit of $200. Get free expert picks and past performances, plus weekly cash back. All from Daily Racing Form, the most trusted name in horse racing. Dan Illman, Mike Beer kicking off a 50-cent pick four at Gulfstream Park on Holy Bull Saturday with race number 9, the Grade 3 Kitten's Joy. 3-year-olds going 1 mile and a 16th on the turf. Let's take a look at this field. The 1 Candidate, the 4 Major Dude, the 2 Souzak, the 7 Congruent. They're all coming out of the Dania Beach. Candidate went to the front that day and made it 3 in a row. Was last time the time for Candidate, Mike?
I kind of looked at it that way. I still think this is a good horse, though, Dan. I'm just, going off at 7-1 in that field off of 2 really good-looking wins. Boy, I'm still disappointed I let that one get away. I don't know if I want to chase him in here. I do think he's a good horse, though, Dan. It's only an 8-horse field. I think this is a pretty well-matched group, though. I think several different horses can win here.
Curious as to your take on the pace of this race. We know Candidate likes to be up close. Let's see what Timeform US has to say about it. And they have him sitting 4th, and Candidate's the kind of horse breaking from the inside. I wouldn't be surprised if Tyler Gaffalione just gets aggressive with the Mike. I know Dude in Colorado was a gate-to-wire winner on synthetic. I know Bapio has shown some speed. I just think the best chance for Candidate is if he's up front.
Yeah, especially since he drew the rail. I mean, you just have to use that position to your advantage and come out of there running and at least make, if, the 6 or the 8 or somebody else wants to, sort of go up and try to make the lead, make them work to get there. And then you could still find yourself in a pretty good spot. Candidate, I won't be surprised if he's on the lead, Dan, but I don't think he needs to be there to be effective.
And let's watch the Dania Beach, where Candidate got to the lead. He was able to relax on the backstretch, and he sprints on home to get the better of Major Dude. And you're right, 7-1 in this race. You're not going to get that if you bet Candidate in the Kitten's Joy. But he did look strong at the right moment, opening up in the 3rd quarter of this race and holding off Major Dude late.
Yeah, I mean, all 3 of his races are good. And this is just another good performance and another step in the right direction for him. Did he have all the best of it on the lead in there? Yes, he did, but he also sprinted through the stretch with plenty left. It was just another good performance. Again, I think this horse is good. I just don't know if I want to take a shorter price on him this time.
Now, when you play this Ricard with your DRF, your free formulator past performances, you can click on the comment line in your PPs and you'll get to watch the video replays. Souzak, the number 2, got a little bit of an education in his North American debut, the Dania Beach. He had a 3-race win streak snapped. He didn't break very well, kind of in tight. He can do better.
Yeah, you're being kind and saying that he had an education last time. That wasn't Joel Rosario's finest moment. Now, maybe he was riding to instructions there. This horse did get bumped at the start, and so maybe that had something to do with, the early position that he was in. But he could have been more forward than he was. Rosario just took a big hold of him as they ran into that first turn. He wound up last. And then they just sat on the inside, Dan. And when you go back, and if you do, happen to pull the replay and go watch it, my question when I watched it was, what were they waiting for around the final turn of that race? Rosario did not try to get this horse into position to make any kind of a run. And there, by the time they got to the top of the stretch, he just had no chance in there. It'll be interesting to see if he can improve in this race, and if he does, how much, because I thought he came over with some pretty good form from France, Dan, and I'm expecting him to run a lot better this time.
He showed a lot of guts in his 3 races in France and the ability to adapt to any sort of pace scenario. In that race back in October at Longchamp, he was right up close in the pocket in behind the leader and squeezed right on through. I think he'll get a little bit more pace. I think he'll run better. I think he'll be a decent price. Mooncat is the number 3, and no real surprise that Mooncat improved last time out on turf. He's by Malibu Moon, the dam, a Grade 2 winner on the surface. Let's watch his victory in start number 2, a maiden special going 7.5 furlongs. He got a solid pace to run at. He gets into the clear, turning for home, and this is a pretty nice kick.
Yeah, I like the finish he puts in here. The pace was there for him. You can see a bunch of horses closing in this race, but I like the kick that this horse displayed here. He's going to get up very late here to prevail. I thought this was a real step in the right direction for him. I also think he's found a pretty tough spot here. I think there are some other good horses in this race, but this horse is going to be a price, and he ran well last time.
The four major dude was the beaten favorite in the Dania Beach. He had a very good 2-year-old campaign. He won the Grade 3 Pilgrim over yielding ground. He had a pretty good trip that day. What was best about that race was the fact that the odds-on favorite came to him strongly in the stretch, and Major Dude just flicked him away with no trouble. Not really interested in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, although the trip wasn't bad at all considering he was from post position 13. Last time out, maybe he just got caught wide at the wrong point on the turn, and he was still grinding it out late. He has good tactical speed. I expect him to improve second off the bench.
Yeah, me too. It'll be interesting to see what Irad does with him this time. He's another horse. He's never been on the lead in his races, Dan, but he's got plenty of speed. And that was pretty evident when you go back and watch the start of the Dania Beach last time. This horse broke very well from the gate, but Irad just was not interested in putting him anywhere near the lead in that race. He took him under a hold. He put him over on the inside, and Candidate managed to get away from this horse around the final turn as they came into the stretch. I still thought Major Dude finished up pretty well in that spot. He's a pretty big threat in here, and maybe he won't be the favorite this time.
Lights of Broadway earned a stakes victory over the Tapeta Service 2 starts back at Gulfstream. He made his turf debut in this race, the Pulpit, back in December, and he got wired by an odds-on favorite and a pretty good horse. I thought all in all, Lights of Broadway ran pretty well, Mike. He earned a career best 83 buyer, so he's trending the right way. He's got a lot of upside potential and is another with tactical speed. He should be a price in here as well.
Yeah, I won't add anything to that. I agree with everything that you said. Maybe the argument that you could make for him more than anything else, Dan, is he just faced a better horse last time than anyone he's facing. And here, I'm not sure if that's true, but it certainly could be true. Ari Gold has won 2 in a row on turf. Now he earned an 89 buyer there. And this horse, all he could do was chase him. He had a good trip in that race, Lights of Broadway, but all he could do was chase.
Pletcher, of course, has the 4 major Dude, but he also has the 6 Dude in Colorado, a very well-bred son of Uncle Mo. This is a half-brother to the globe-trotting millionaire Spanish Mission, and he looked very good in his last race. The race washed off the turf onto the Tapeta at Gulfstream, and Arad Ortiz didn't fool around as the favorite. He got this horse right to the front, and he sprinted on home. The third finisher came back to run third on turf with a respectable 77 buyer.
Yeah, this horse ran okay in his debut, where they were kind of conservative with him and then came 3 wide to the stretch. He ran fine that day. Obviously, much more clued in last time. He broke really sharply from the gate. He had good speed in there. And I thought he won super easy that day, Dan. I think he's a pretty dangerous horse in here.
Congruent, the number 7. I was expecting a little bit more from in the Dania Beach, and I was a little bit disappointed. 2 back in the Pulpit, the race that we saw where Lights of Broadway finished second. Again, it was a race won by an odds-on favorite that got loose on an easy lead. Congruent was rank and pulling hard in behind horses, and I think that hurt his kick. He finished okay to be third, but last time out in the Dania Beach, he just didn't run to expectations.
Yeah, exactly. I don't, listen, I don't want to, say anything bad about this horse. I don't want to talk anybody off him either. If you want to give him one more chance, I actually really liked him in the Pulpit the first time he was on turf, and he did have some trouble in the first turn of that race. But after that, I thought he got a good trip. And I just really wasn't taken with that performance. And I didn't think he did any better last time. So I'm personally kind of done with him, at least as a turf horse, but I still think he's pretty good.
The 8 is Bapio, going out from Mark Cassidy, also conditions the 5 Lights of Broadway. This horse captured the Grade 3 with anticipation at a huge price in his turf debut at Saratoga, although he got a candy trip, sitting outside, prompting a slow pace and sprinting on home. He's a half-brother to Papa Cap, who we've seen run some really nice races on the dirt. His last race on dirt wasn't very good, Bapio. I think he's better on the grass.
I think he's better on the grass, too. He gets a little bit of a layoff here. He's going to make his 3-year-old debut with a chance to take a step forward, Dan. And certainly if he takes a step forward in here, he can contend with these horses.
Let's take a look at our top selections. This race, again, the kickoff leg of a 50-cent pick 4 at Gulfstream on Saturday. Mike, you're going with the trip horse. Souzak showed some ability in France, didn't really have the cleanest run at all last time out, and might get more pace, and probably is a little fitter this time around.
Yeah, I just want to give him one more chance here, Dan. He did not like the trip that he pulled in the Dania Beach last time. And maybe, listen, again, maybe that was 2 instructions and Motion thought he needed a race, because I believe when he got over here, they were thinking of maybe running him in a stakes race at the end of last year, and he got sick and he missed some time. So maybe he needed that race, Dan. I think he's going to run a lot better here.
Yeah, I think they were planning on running him in the Breeders' Cup, actually, and he missed the race because he got sick. So he has some quality. I'm hoping that Candidate can once again take a step forward. He's looked good in all 3 turf starts. I love his tactical ability. Unfortunately, he won't be the price he was last time. 2413 for Mike, 1457 for me in the Grade 3 Kitten's Joy at Gulfstream on Saturday. Best of luck.